Hello there, my name is Indigo Dev, and welcome to episode 1 of our Roblox beginner scripting tutorial series. So, once you've downloaded Roblox Studio from the link in the description, you're going to notice there's a couple of templates that Roblox has provided for us. But for this series, just go ahead and click on the base plate. Once we've loaded in, we're going to notice our entire interface has loaded up. And before we go over what that is, I wanted to explain to you how the process of each episode is going to go. So here's a little visual aid for you to follow along with. But the process is this. I'm going to explain to you the concept for this episode. I'm going to do examples with you together in Studio. We're going to explain some topics about the concept further. I'll explain some use cases, assign you a learning assessment and or a challenge, and then we'll do the outro and that will be all. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the toolbar, which is located right here. This contains all of your tools, and then above that is going to be your mezzanine. The mezzanine has a left, center, and right side to it. On the left side is your testing controls. This lets you play test and run your game. And in the center is your tab. Each tab contains its own tools, specifically the ones that Roblox has given us by default. So Avatar has Avatar tools, UI has UI tools. And you can create your own custom tab if you'd like, but I'll let you figure that out on your own. And the plugins that you do download will be located under the plugins tab as well. Now on the right side of the mezzanine, you'll notice a couple helpful features such as collaboration. If you want to invite your friends to work with you on your game, you'll do that here. You can share your game here. Your AI assistant is also here, as well as creator notifications, and it shows you what current user is logged into Studio. All right, now this main window here is considered your 3D viewport. This lets you see into your game's world with a camera. Now to move the camera around, we need to know its controls. So let's go ahead and right click anywhere in the viewport and drag while right clicking, and this lets us look around with our camera. We can also move the camera itself by holding W for forward, S for back, A to the left, D to the right. The keys Q and E. Q moves it down, E moves it back up. Now the scroll wheel also lets you move your camera forwards and backwards quickly wherever your cursor is located. So we can move over here and we can move back. Now, when you select a certain object or part in your game, for example, our spawn location is a part, and we'll know it's selected once it turns into a darker blue, we can press F. And this will focus our camera on that specific part. And we can also rotate the camera around our object by pressing comma key or period key, just like that. Now you don't have to be selecting a part to move the camera on a rotation. You can do that as well without a part selected, just to move the camera and not around an object. The last thing I want to discuss with you is your Explorer and your property windows. The Explorer window is a hierarchy list of everything contained within your game. So all of the services and objects are located here. So for example, our workspace has our camera, terrain, spawn location, and base plate. We can select our spawn location, and within our spawn location even further is the decal that's been slapped on top of it. Now let's go ahead and select our spawn location, and in our properties window here, these are all the properties that are tied and we can manipulate for our spawn location. So for instance, each property has been organized into a certain section. So appearance can be changed here. We can change its transformation to make it in a different position or different size here as well. But overall, anytime you want to change a specific appearance or behavior for an object, you'll be doing so in the properties window. Now next, let's go ahead back to our toolbar and let's hit Asset Manager here. It's going to open up our window for our Asset Manager. Anything that you're importing into Roblox Studio, so your images, your models, your audio, anything like that you've imported will be managed here. So let's go ahead and close that. And we're going to open our toolbox, and this is a pretty big resource for creating games. This is where you'll find your plugins, any kind of models that are made by the community or Roblox itself. There's a lot of assets here that you can use, so make sure to go through it on your own. But for now, let's go ahead and close it again. Now the last one in terms of windows is our output window. If you don't already have the output window here, go ahead and hit window at the top left and select output. Our output window is where the engine will send us messages about any issues it may have. It will also share messages from errors that are from our scripts, and it will also print any statements that we've written in our scripts, as well as errors with warns from our scripts, which we'll be going over in a future episode. But the output window is extremely important for debugging your code, so make sure to always have it open, so if you have any errors from your scripts, you are aware of them. All right, Next, I just want to go over building, some simple building with our types of parts and tools. So let's go ahead and hover over our part selector here. We have 5 main parts: a block, a sphere, a wedge, and a corner wedge, and a cylinder. Let's go ahead and spawn in all 5 real quick, just so we have them. We'll just move over a little bit as we spawn them in so they're not spawned on top of each other either. All right, now that we have our 5 main parts, let's go ahead and manipulate one of them. So we'll select our block, and we're going to use the select tool, and now we can move our part around. We can also move it on the XYZ axis with the move tool in those directions as we want. We can use the scale tool to scale the part up and down, left and right, and all that, just like this, to make it bigger or smaller. We can also rotate, but let's say I rotate it and I don't like the way it's been rotated. I can hit Control Z and put it back to normal. All right, one thing you may have noticed when messing with the tools is that the increments in which you're scaling or moving are different from mine. That would be your stud and rotation increments, which are found here, and you can change as you need to. I recommend personally for stud increments 0.1 or 0.2, and for rotation maybe 2 or 4, but you'll find your preference yourself. Now, the last thing I want to cover is material and color for our part. So we're going to give each part its own material and its own color. Roblox gives us a few default materials to use, so we'll give this one a brick. We'll give this one carpet. We'll give this one, let's say roof tiling. We'll do concrete for this one, and then we'll do pool tiling for the last one. All right, so now let's go ahead and assign some colors to our parts. So we'll give this one a nice light green. We'll give this one a light blue. I want to give this one maybe a reddish color. We'll give this one a darker blue, and then we'll just give this one brown. All right, so now that we've materialized and colored our 5 types of parts, for today's learning assessment, what I'd like you to do is try to build something small and simple. Build a house. Go ahead and build a tree, just something you know you can manage. And for today's learning challenge, what I'd like you to do, I've went ahead and I've linked some Roblox documentation over interface in the description. If you'd like to, go ahead and go over that, just so you can know anything about interface that we might have not discussed yet, but you'd be interested in learning. And then just a few more things to discuss before we're done. I want to discuss how do we select multiple parts at once. So if we hold Shift, we can now select all 5 of our parts, and this will let us move them and manipulate them with our tools all at once rather than one at a time. And also, if you have a more complicated build, or if you have something where it's lots of parts are within each other, you can actually click through and cycle through and highlight a specific part you want. So if I click this while holding Alt, it will cycle through, and now I can click on my sphere and I can move that as needed. And then the last thing I wanted to cover real quick is how to save your game. Go to File, and then hit Save to Roblox. It's going to pop up this window, and you can give it whatever name you want. I'm going to say Beginner Series. You can name it anything you'd like, though. And then we're going to just hit Save, and Roblox is going to save all of our progress thus far. There is an autosave, but just make sure if you're doing any big work on a game to always try to save periodically. And then that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. In our next episode, we're going to be discussing printing statements and introduction into scripting with Luau. But other than that, I hope you have learned something useful from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.